Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Family Wealth and Other Musings. I am your host, Becky Easton. We are now over 45 episodes in. This is episode 46 or 47 technically if you want to count episode 0. And this has been a lot of fun, guys. I wanted to take a minute to reintroduce myself. If you're new around here and haven't listened all the way through, whenever you're checking in and listening in, welcome. I appreciate you being here for sure. And so I just wanted to go back and give a little bit of background on who I am, what we're doing here with this podcast. And so I am a personal family lawyer licensed in Arizona and Colorado, and I practice primarily estate planning, although I do also work with a lot of business owners, primarily in helping to set up LLCs and plan. And I am also I've started some classes to be certified also as a family business lawyer. So I am trained through New Law Business Model and Alley Katz, aside from, that's a post-law degree. And it's actually a funny story because growing up, I didn't want to be an attorney. Wasn't on my list of job options or career options, I should say. Wasn't really interested in law school or anything like that. And I attribute that to having grown up on Law and Order. And while an excellent TV show and series, I thought being a lawyer meant that all you did was go to court and argue all day long. And that sounded real stressful to me, and I just was not interested in that life. So I went through school, graduated from college with a psychology bachelor's and Spanish linguistics bachelor's. And all you do with that is go to more school. And so it was just a matter of time for me to figure out what that more school was going to be. And I was out for a few years working for GoDaddy in Phoenix, which was an excellent company to work for at the time. I still have friends who work there because it was such a solid company at the time, and it was a lot of fun in the days that I was there, for sure. And however, my next step really was going to be into management there, and I just my heart wasn't in it. I was going to do it because that was the next step, But fortunately, kind of right about the same time as I would have been interviewing to move up, I had realized that transactional attorneys were a thing and that I could help people with business deals, and I could help people with their estate planning, and I could help people ideally plan around ever needing to go to court or be in conflict. I was always someone who enjoyed reading the small print or all of contracts, just because, I'm bored and the paperwork's in front of me, so we might as well read it and see what's there. And so it's funny because people always ask me about the couple times that I bought a house. It's like, oh, did you just sit there and read everything? And I'm like, no. I read a lot. I skimmed. I've learned a lot of things having worked in reviewing mortgage foreclosures, and I was fortunate enough to learn a lot of the tricks to look for, and excuse me, and a lot of those practices were cleaned up for sure. But so anyway, I decided to go to law school in 2007. So, the market was doing pretty good right then. At least there was no reason for either my boyfriend at the time, now husband, or I to think that it was a bad idea to both leave pretty good jobs, like very good jobs, to go to Denver so I could go to law school, with my plan being to, live on kind of student loans and, part-time jobs. And his was going to be, at the time, GoDaddy was looking to open a call center, I believe it was, up there. And so we were like, oh, sweet, well, we'll just, come back on when they open that up. Well, that was all, early 2008 that we're making those plans, and we up and moved on just, a wing and a prayer that everything was going to work out, and instead the market fell out entirely. GoDaddy didn't build that call center, or never staffed it, and I wouldn't change it at all. And even if I could go back to like my younger self and say, hey, you should just get advice from people. You should get out there and ask people what their experience was like and how you could, do it differently, or what their guidance is for you. Like, I wouldn't have had very good guidance either. Like, nobody was going to be able to prepare me for the fact that no jobs would exist when I graduated 3 years later. That there would be 400 job applications plus for every actual lawyer job that came available that, was paying $50,000. So it's just kind of funny, I wouldn't change it. It definitely helped shape me into the person that I've become. And I have so many really excellent friends that I made at that time, and partnerships, really. And it would just be different, right? So if we change even the difficult times in our lives, we wouldn't be the same. So anyway, I went to Denver, and we were able to buy a home at a really decent time. I mean, Denver's economy really came back right away, because if you suddenly can't live in your very expensive part of town or part of the country, where do you go? Somewhere that's still affordable at the time, and is a nice place to live. And that was Denver for sure. And so the housing market really just went kind of crazy. And if you're listening to this from Arizona, where I am, or, the Phoenix Valley, that we have had such an intense housing boom right now in market prices and everything. And it was, it did that. And so we came to a point finally where we were like, well, we can sell our house for double and put that all into a down payment on a house, on a 60-year-old fixer-upper in Denver, where we want to be. And we're not fixer-upper people, so that's a terrible idea. Or we can come back home to Arizona, be closer to family, and it's cheaper to live, or it was at the time. And so we packed up and came back. I had been working at a bank at the time. The job prospects were real low still. And it's good for the ego, maybe. I needed some humbling, maybe. But anyway, so we came back to Arizona, and I ended up working with a boutique HOA firm in town, representing HOAs, and primarily working in the collections and garnishments department. We had a judgment against you because you had not been paying your HOA dues. for a certain amount of time, and we were, now going to try to collect that by taking it from your paycheck or out of your bank account, if we could locate a bank account with assets in it. And that is something that I don't believe any little girls dream of doing when they grow up. But that aside, it was still really interesting. I learned a whole lot. I learned so much about CC&Rs and just how community associations work. And it was a really fascinating group of people, I thought. It was my first real foray into networking because, as community managers move around to different communities or anything, they need to hire out for services. And so it paid to get to know and be friends with different community managers. If you had, a pool business or a roofing business or a painting business or whatever, that could be tied and useful to a community association. And so it was actually a really fun group of people to get together with out here in Arizona. And but no people dream of doing collections when they're growing up. And it was hard also because not only was I billing hourly, so people didn't want to call me even just to ask questions like, hey, I think I only have 2 more payments on my payment plan. Do you have that same? Can I verify that? And I'd say yes, except now, I will also be charging you for the courtesy of telling you how much your balance was. It just seemed a little, I could get it, but it was a little hard sometimes to charge people that. And also they don't want to talk to me, or they want to talk really quickly or anything. And even though that wasn't like clients that we were working with, because our clients were the HOA, it was still, I was trying to make an agreement with these people. I was still trying to work with them and help them get out of debt, help them get this off their backs. And, I don't know. Anyway, it was just really hard. And I was able to step away from that after a few years. I went to work for another firm, another HOA firm for a little while, and then went full-time with my firm, with Easton Law, Estate and Business Planning. Founded that just over 4 years ago. And I have truly found the way to get back to, helping people on the front end. Really when it comes to estate and business planning, we're not just drafting documents. We're ensuring that you make informed and empowered decisions about life and death for yourself and for the people that you love. We aim at the very beginning to get you more financially organized than you've ever been before through our family wealth planning session. And really, that helps you to make all the best choices for those people that you love. It's really diving in, getting to know you as a person, what's important to you, who you care about, what you love, and then helping you design a plan to protect that and keep that safe. And I absolutely love my practice. It's really hard being an entrepreneur some days. Really hard. Any of the other small business owners out there who are listening to this episode will know exactly what I'm talking about. It is a hard life some days. But when the alternative is having to go back and work for somebody else, this is maybe one of the very first times that I've just been more motivated than anything to not quit and work harder and it's a fun practice for me, at least. I really, really love it. And I work with a lot of neighbors and their friends and families. And that's one of the really nice things about the neighborhood that I live in, Eastmark, is that there are so many extended families in the neighborhood, brothers and sisters and moms and grandparents and cousins and friends of friends who've been convinced to move into the neighborhood. And so it's a tight community. And it really is honestly just a privilege to be able to work here and build a business and everything. And it's a very neat community of people who want to support businesses in the neighborhood as well. So that is just so fortunate, again, to have that kind of, support and love right here in the neighborhood. So, I don't know. That's me. When I first opened Easton Law, I wasn't trained as a personal family lawyer. And that came a couple years ago, 2.5, maybe, right at the beginning of COVID. No, I'm sorry, in the middle of COVID. It's a little bit more comprehensive style of planning than your average estate planner, where, as I mentioned, it's not just drafting documents. It's really helping identify your point of view on the things that are important to you and helping you protect that and keep it updated throughout the years. There are a few things that change, little things that change all the time. And whether that's changes in the law or changes in your life or changes in your family's life, many of them are going to be reasons to update your planning. And not having a relationship with an attorney who can help you make changes and updates and corrections and all of that throughout your life, and then also be a resource for your family after the fact. Not having a relationship like that just ends up, unfortunately, leaving holes in your planning, and it can result in some incomplete and unnecessary headaches, unfortunately. And so I came across Allie Katz's new law business model. It was early 2020 when I came across that and decided to look more into it and go through this training so that I could, really give my clients more and have that better trusted advisor relationship with my clients. And again, it's really just been very pleasant to build a firm, and difficult every day, don't get me wrong, but fun and very fulfilling. And if any of this, as you're listening to it, you'd just like to talk a little bit more about, maybe just questions you have for me, or to figure out whether sitting down for a family wealth planning session is right, whether you're sitting down with me, if you're licensed in Arizona or Colorado, or if you're sitting down with another personal family lawyer near you, or even looking to speak with a family business lawyer, then, I can definitely put you in touch and get you to the right place. And again, I just thank you for listening in. Oh, let me give you that contact information. That would probably be helpful. You can find a personal family lawyer near you by going to personalfamilylawyer.com, or a family business lawyer can be found at familybusinesslawyer.co, just CO there. And then as for me, you can reach me or grab a time on my calendar for us to talk by going to or by calling my front office at 480-999 888-888-4455 and scheduling time on my calendar. So again, thank you again for listening in. This has been a pleasure. Like I said, just over 45 episodes in here of this 365-day podcast challenge. And we're going strong, still making it. And I appreciate you being along for the ride. Guys, this has been Family Wealth and Other Musings, and I am your host, Becky Easton. Have a great day.